Hello everybody. Today I want to make a different kind of video than the ones that I usually see on YouTube, which is a product review, but a 1 year in product review of the Citadel and Games Workshop hobby tools. The Citadel hobby tools that came out, I think it was November 2022. So at this point, a year and a half or more, and I've been using them for about that time. So I have a little gripe, I guess, with the internet or the YouTube in general about like these product review, where a lot of time you see, these bigger channels, these bigger like hobby influencers or hobby content creators, call them what you want, with the big channel, they make product review when stuff's about to come out, or when they're about to hit like the pre-release or pre-sale or whatever, like the launch period, and then you kind of never see it again. You can't really be mad at, because that's kind of the name of the game on YouTube, especially for these bigger channels, like not some like small hobby channel like mine, but much bigger ones where they get paid to do this content. They get either paid by a company and then send the stuff for free, or just send it for free and then go, hey, please talk about this. So the people talk about it, but then if there's no really like if they're not like crazy like in love with the product, you're never gonna hear about it again. And this well, first, it pisses me off because I'm not somebody that like impulse buy a lot of hobby things. I like my stuff to last, and I try to get the best bang for my buck. Like, I don't like paying for tools. I like spending all my money on minis because I'm just a crazy person like that. So I like buying stuff and kind of keeping it, and also I'm not like this big shot guy that gets sent in stuff for free, and neither are you or most people watching this, right? We buy stuff that we want or that we need. This kind of lack of like long-term review leads to sometimes like very disastrous result. Like we see like disastrous, it's always soldiers here, but still, it leads to some lack of accountability or some lack of long-term review. We've seen this recently with the Army Painter Speed Paint 1.0, where they sent a bunch of product out, talk about this and did this, and there were like really big talking points too about them, like every influencer on the planet got them for free, and then they were like, oh yeah, this is much cheaper than Games Workshop contrast. Like, bitch, you didn't pay for it. Like, how do you come up with this is much cheaper? Of course it's cheaper, they gave it to you. But also, they got their money and they played with it for, one video, maybe two videos, and then they stopped using it. And then lo and behold, the product comes out and people are like, hey, this product is crap, and it never fully dries. You can't paint on top of it. And sometimes you airbrush varnish and it melts. And, also like there was like 2 or 3 channels that kind of addressed it. And then the rest of them, you didn't really hear it from it. Mostly because I'm assuming a lot of the people that got this, they tried it for the review, and then they put them aside because they were not really using contrast or speed paint in general. And that's fine. That more, you don't have to use them. You didn't get kind of like the full story out of this because nobody really bothered to, and nor should they. They send this to make like a positive review, or paid for even to make a positive review, and they do that, but then they just don't really talk about it afterwards. And the same thing with the, what was it called, like the everlasting wet palette or something, and then everybody's in love with the wet palette and the everlasting wet palette, and it's not like your mama's wet palette, this is a different wet palette, it's everlasting. And then it comes out, and then 1 month in, everybody realizes that it's the moldy wet palette. The sponge is super cheap in there, and it collects, it deteriorates, and it's full of mold within a month. And the company has to make like a second run at this and send more sponges to everybody that, like, I think it was a Kickstarter, that one. And, because a lot of a lot of the painters, they got it, they make a review about it, but it doesn't last a month, right? So, anyway, that was my little soapbox of one thing that I don't really enjoy. Again, it's kind of the name of the game on YouTube. You kind of have to deal with it. This is influencer marketing basics, okay? So like, the hobby's not immune to it. But, it pisses me off, and so I choose to do my own stuff. And the few products that I review are because I buy them myself and I use them, and now we get to talk about it a little bit more. We get to talk about it a little bit more here, and I got 3 here from the 5 range. I think there was 5 in the whole range. The other 2, well, let's talk about the other 2 first. So there was the mold line remover, which in my initial review, I don't use the mold line remover that much, like in real life, even the Games Workshop or otherwise. So it's really not for me. I still maintain, like I've sold a couple through the store, and I still maintain it's mainly, I think the best idea is for kids. Like if you want to get your children into the hobby and you don't want to give them like a hobby knife, the mold line remover I think is kind of the best option to get started and keep all 10 digits. I still maintain this, or maybe if you do a lot of resin work, which I don't do too much, it feels like the mold line remover for resin is a really great tool because resin is like fragile and you can easily cut through it. So I still maintain this. However, it's not really a product that I use. So it's out there, it's available, and there are other options out there as well, like unbranded options, because this is really just like a steel rod with like sharp angles, if you will. So mold line remover, I wasn't a fan, or it wasn't really a product that I saw made for me. Still, that opinion didn't change. And the other one is the file set, which again, the Games Workshop file set versus any other file set, it's not special to me. Also, Games Workshop removing all metal from their minis means that the file set is all but lost, because it's a really big I feel like maybe you want to use it, but in my experience, files are for metal model that have like strong mold lines and that you can be rough with it, right? They like to play rough. That's cool. The file set is there for you. But for their like, super highly detailed plastic, the file set is not really there. So these are the 2 that are like not here and that I've not really used because, they're the same product or they're not for me. Now these one here, I do use and I do keep. So the drill I'm still not a fan of. I've used, and the reason I kept it is because my Tamiya drill broke after like 10 years plus of service. God rest its soul. Gone but not forgotten. The Tamiya hobby drill, like electric. It stopped working. I have yet to purchase a replacement for it. So I've been using this one just because it's lying there. It does nothing for me. I think I'm using it until it breaks, and then I can say I knew it would break, because it's like plasticky and it's really cheap, and the special feature, the little screw is in the middle instead of the top. It means nothing to me. It's no use. This is not more comfortable than like I don't have a regular drill lying around. I was looking for one. I use it because I opened it for the review. So the hobby knife here, I've talked about this. I liked it in the video. I'm still liking it a lot. So the main feature for me is that it does not roll around. I am very clumsy in life, and having something that does not roll around and will like fall off my desk is great for me. I love that feature where like it stays exactly where I put it and doesn't roll around or whatever. And I like that the cap is very strong. This is not, you've probably seen these, like this one doesn't have a cover, especially for this reason. The caps don't like stick on them, whereas this one you can like kind of hold it by the cap and it stays on. I like that. Again, I'm clumsy. I don't like poking my hands and fingers and stuff. I'm very pleased that this is a regular, number 11 blade that fits in there. Games Workshop has like a tendency to do their own like proprietary blades or whatever. So I like that a standard blade fits in there, so I can just buy regular blades. It makes me very happy. I like it a lot. Actually, I've been using it pretty consistently. So this one here is still pretty good. Also, it hasn't broken off. I was worried that this piece here, the little like, I don't know what to call this, the thing that goes over the blade a little bit, I thought it would break because that's where like you put a little bit of more pressure on. Pretty resilient. I'm happy with this. Which leads us to the last product, which is the clippers, which as many of you know, it was a big revelation for me. I still have my garbage Games Workshop clippers from 3 versions ago. I use these ones all the time. Now, as I said, clippers come in all shapes and forms and all price ranges. So, and this one is not different. It is a very expensive for the quality you get. I think it's great quality. I do think it's on the expensive end of that quality because I've said this before. I'm just going to say it again because it's still through. When you get to pay more, all you get is finer ends. And finer ends are not that great, like up to a certain point for the models that we do. They like the Games Workshop models are a little bit rougher, like the sprues and how they're injected. They're a little bit bigger injection points than a lot of the military model, like car, scale model cars, and Gundam pieces, which all have like super small injection points. So having like super fine clippers is really great. These ones here, I've not put like too much like wear and tear to them, and you can still see, first of all, there's a little bend to them. Second of all, they've lost their point on both sides. And I don't know if I can show you, there's like a curve to, you can see it now. It gets this curve here, and I've been like a good boy with them. I have not, cut through like big sprues and metal or whatever. This was strictly plastic. I've been trying my best to keep them, and still they get this. So truth be told, these clippers here, they probably go through more wear and tear than the regular, like a normal people clippers, because I build and paint a lot of miniature with the commissions and stuff. Like this has built like 5 armies in like a year and a half. Again, it's got, it's been 1 year and a half, but I put them through hell and back. So this might be like 3 year worth of like normal hobby use when you're not like a savage person. So these clippers, are they a rebuy? Are they not? It's hard to. I like the convenience. They're the easiest one to get. However, since I need to order Tamiya, I might order some Tamiya that I think are equivalent, and then we put them to the test. Again, I'm still honestly, the hobby knife is now my MVP. It started out with the clippers. I'm a really big fan of the clippers. But the hobby knife has withstood everything that I've thrown at it, and it doesn't roll. So it's for a stupid gadget, it's not insanely overpriced. It's not, it's expensive for a hobby knife. You can get this like $3 or like $20 something. I like it. I'm very happy with it. And then once you buy it, it's like it lives on forever. You just replace the blades, and the cool thing is, again, the blades are the normal ones, so I like that. And then the clippers are still pretty good. They're the ones I use currently until I get them replaced. So they hold up. The clipper, possible rebuy. They're really easy and accessible for that price range. I think a similar price range or a slightly cheaper ones from an unbranded store, or even like the Tamiya God Hands, which is kind of the running favorite for military models, is probably a better step. But definitely not a bad product. Very happy with a year and a half of Games Workshop hobby products.